This is the weekly sales meeting for April 13th, 2025. My name is Chris Fleming. You can reach me at chris@cdmediaconsulting.com or go to our website at cdmediaconsulting.com. Today's topic, the pricing spiral. In the world of buying and selling, a common tug-of-war exists between the players. On one side, we have buyers who aim to maximize their expenditures. On the other side, we have sellers looking to maximize profits. This dynamic is particularly evident in the selling phenomenon of the pricing spiral. Here, the initial offer made by the seller is often chiseled down through negotiation. This repeated pattern of interaction reveals insights about human behavior. It is rooted in market psychology. It is based on the perception of value in recurring transactional spaces. As we look into this topic, we'll explore how these dynamics create friction. We will look at why they persist and how they shape the outcomes of negotiations for both sides. At the heart of the pricing spiral lies the fundamental disconnect. Sellers value their products or services based on their inherent worth. They will factor in input costs and desired margins. On the opposite side, buyers assess value through their personal needs. They are selfish at first, then they make external comparisons which are often not parallel. Finally, there is the context of the transaction. The result is a constant push and pull. Each party aims to secure the best deal from their perspective. As Warren Buffett stated, price is what you pay, value is what you get. His words highlight the often subjective nature of value. This is a central figure in the pricing spiral. Some of it is learned behavior from other sales processes. In many high-ticket commission sales professions, some level of negotiation takes place. Research by HubSpot indicates that over 70% of buyers expect some degree of price negotiation. Certain buying types are predisposed to do this. If you are calling on an auto dealer, expect negotiation. Regardless of how reasonable the initial offer may seem, it is in their nature. This expectation creates a standard where buyers are almost compelled to negotiate. Most buyers believe that failing to do so might leave money on the table. On the seller's side, we often plan to combat this. One tactic is to raise the price by 20% before seeing a particular customer. This way, we can accommodate the expected discounts. This strategy can backfire. It can create perceptions of insincerity or greed. The pricing spiral becomes even more pronounced in our recurring transactional spaces. In these environments, previous interactions set expectations for both parties. Buyers often anchor their perception of a fair price on the lowest amount they've paid in the past. If they secured a discount before, they're likely to demand similar concessions in the future, and this is without regard for changes in market conditions. Conversely, sellers may feel justified in increasing prices due to changes in market conditions, but if you have not increased your prices in the last 20 years, good luck trying to do it now. One reason the pricing spiral endures is that it plays into deep-rooted human behaviors. Behavioral economics sheds light on the psychology of pricing and negotiation. These studies show people derive satisfaction not only from the monetary savings they achieve, it also comes from the sense of accomplishment that comes with negotiating a lower price. This phenomenon is tied to the endowment effect. Here, buyers feel an increased attachment to their perceived savings. It is savings as though it were a tangible gain. Over on the selling side, we experience a similar effect. We can overvalue it based on the effort and emotional investment we put into it. Ralph Waldo Emerson observed the value of a thing is not the thing itself, but in the thought and effort invested in it. The tension between these perspectives can lead to frustration on both sides. It is common for buyers to feel sellers are attempting to exploit them by inflating prices. Sellers may view buyers as unfairly devaluing their offers. Over time, this erodes trust and can even damage long-term relationships. A study by McKinsey & Company found that 60% of buyers are less likely to engage with a seller if they perceive the pricing to be inconsistent. Consistency is one factor in overcoming this disconnect. The other is transparency. When you give the buyer a peek behind the curtain, you can diffuse resistance. Share your why to help the buyer understand the pricing structure. This frame of reference certainly helps when selling an intangible. Another element in this dynamic is the role of perceived fairness. If you know me, you know I push back on the word. I believe that fairness has a ring of subjectivity to it. I prefer the word equitable. This infers that each party has a benefit in the discussion. A study in the Journal of Consumer Research highlights that buyers are more likely to accept a price if they believe it reflects fairness, if they perceive a mutual benefit. Sellers who can communicate the value of their product close more. This is not only in pricing, but also in quality, uniqueness, and relevance. How close is your offer to solving a problem for the customer? This level of utility of your offer often reduces the need for negotiation. This is true value-based selling. The focus shifts from the cost of the product to the benefit it delivers. Franklin P. Jones was an American humorist and writer. He was known for his clever sayings and observations about life, business, and human behavior. His witty quotes often reflected practical wisdom and humor. This made him a popular figure in the mid-20th century. Jones had a knack for blending humor with truth. He wrote, "A bargain is something you can't use at a price you can't resist." While an attempt at humor aimed at our bargain-at-any-cost society, there is wisdom in this wit. We will sell more to that type of buyer when that type of buyer perceives it to be of real value. The issue of trust and transparency becomes even more pronounced in digital marketplaces. Buyers have access to vast amounts of information and competitive pricing data. Platforms like Amazon and eBay have normalized price comparisons. This gives buyers more leverage than ever before. Sellers in digital environments must strike a delicate balance. We must find a way to remain competitive and maintain our margins. Data from Statista reveals that 64% of digital shoppers compare prices before making a purchase. This is why the perception of overall value is an important driver of purchasing decisions. One strategy we can use to combat the pricing spiral is anchoring our offers to value rather than price. This means getting to the utility of the offer before revealing the price. A seller might emphasize the long-term savings as a justification for the pricing, or may run through a series of direct benefits that have perceived value on the surface. These help the buyer align with the value proposition. It justifies their pricing. This approach shifts the conversation away from haggling toward mutual benefit. As author and negotiation expert Chris Voss notes, negotiation is not an active battle. It is a process of discovery. The goal is to uncover as much information as possible. By focusing on discovery and alignment, sellers can bridge the perception gap. This will make the process of negotiation have much less friction. Chester L. Karras was a well-known expert in negotiation skills and techniques. He was the creator of the Karras Negotiation Seminars. Here he taught people how to negotiate both business and personal situations. Karras wrote several books on the subject. One such book is The Negotiating Game. He wrote, "You don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate." In his world, everything can be negotiated. In my world, I work to eliminate the negotiation in the sales process. In a perfect world, the first price would be final, anchoring aside. If we create, establish, and maintain our value proposition on every sales call, negotiation is unnecessary. But it is never a perfect world. Anchoring strategies are not foolproof. Buyers who are motivated by price may still resist higher offers. This is particularly true in industries where commoditization is prevalent. In retail or hospitality, products and services are often perceived as interchangeable. Then price becomes the primary differentiator. This creates a vicious cycle. Sellers feel pressured to outprice their competitors. This leads to diminished margins and devaluation of the market as a whole. Because of this, it spills over into other areas, even to areas where it should not be, because it is a pattern of behavior associated with buying and selling. It is perceived as part of the sales process. To break free from this cycle, focus on building trust. Focus on the long-term relationship with your buyers. Personalized outreach helps. Consistent communication can help to reinforce the value of your offerings. This reduces the likelihood of aggressive price negotiations. Another factor in addressing the pricing spiral is education. Sellers who take the time to educate their buyers about the true cost of their products can help reshape perceptions of value. This approach builds credibility. It empowers buyers to make more informed decisions. By educating buyers, we can create a more level playing field. We can reduce the adversarial nature of negotiations. Despite these strategies, it is important to acknowledge one fact. The pricing spiral is unlikely to disappear entirely. The tension between maximizing profits and minimizing costs is a natural byproduct of market economics. Yet, by understanding the psychology of this dynamic, we can become more effective. As Stephen Covey, author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, advises, seek first to understand, then to be understood. This principle is especially relevant in the context of pricing. Here, when we reach a level of mutual understanding, we can achieve better end results. Detach from the outcome. When you can have the pricing conversation without emotional baggage, you will get better results. Howard Baker was a respected American politician, diplomat, and lawyer who served as the U.S. Senator from Tennessee from 1967 to 1985. He was known for his ability to build consensus. He was called the Great Conciliator. Baker served as Senate Majority Leader. He was later tapped as White House Chief of Staff under President Ronald Reagan. He was admired for his leadership, problem-solving skills, and fairness. He wrote the most difficult thing in any negotiation, almost, is making sure that you strip it of the emotion and deal with the facts. We can remove the emotion from our side of the equation to create better outcomes. Bob Burg is a well-known author, speaker, and business consultant. He specializes in teaching people how to create value in business. He is best known for his book, The Go-Giver. In it, he highlights the importance of giving and adding value to others as a path to success. Berg's work focuses on sales, leadership, and personal development. He recommends shifting from focusing on profits alone to creating meaningful win-win relationships. His take on this topic is when you sell on price, you are a commodity. When you sell on value, you are a resource. The question for you today is, what would you like to be, a commodity or a resource? The pricing spiral is a complex and enduring phenomenon. It reflects the fundamental disconnect between buyers and sellers, and that disconnect is over the perception of value. While this dynamic often leads to friction, it also presents growth opportunities. By focusing on transparency, trust, and education, sellers can navigate the challenges of the pricing spiral. We can strive to create more meaningful relationships with buyers. For buyers, they can approach negotiation with the spirit of collaboration and curiosity. This can uncover greater value. They will build stronger partnerships. In the end, the pricing spiral is not about numbers. It reflects the human desire for equity, understanding, and connection. We can use these tools to reduce buying friction. We can get to closed with greater efficiency. My new book, 21st Century Sales Success, is now available on Amazon.com. If you like what you have heard here today, please consider ordering a copy, or two, you can always send one to a friend. Go to cdmediaconsulting.com right now and follow the instructions to order.